Hi there, it's Debbie Anderson here today from Inner Liberation Healing, and today I'm just going to talk with you about how to handle and deal with these crazy times that we're living in and what has helped me. So it's actually called taking back your power in these crazy times. And I know that there has been many challenges for us to deal with in the last 3 years. We have all been experiencing that and feeling that and living that. And things seem to be unsure and chaotic and speeded up. And in some of my previous posts, I've written about some of the experiences that I've gone through with the narcissistic abuse that I had suffered and am now healed from. And now it is very, very clear that we're seeing narcissistic abuse on a global scale around the world. And we've been controlled for many, 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 many years by narcissists, our politicians, the so-called government leaders that are running our educational systems and our healthcare systems, our food systems, excuse me. And those of us who have lived through narcissistic abuse on a personal level know what it's like to kind of go through a death in life experience where we have to lose everything pretty much to start over. And that's not what I'm saying is going to happen, but what I'm saying is those of us who have lived through narcissistic abuse know what it feels like to lose what we had and have to begin again. And we might have lost the life that we had. Some of us might even have lost or gained, I guess, the fact that we were not going to be ended by this person in our life. And what helped me and what has helped almost everyone is our connection to a greater power that's outside, that is not outside ourselves, but is rather within ourselves. So now we are finding ourselves in this crazy confusion, this bombardment consistently of lies and fear and negativity that's spewed upon us by our journalists in the mainstream media. We've suffered from the losses of relationships that we've had, and we saw ourselves living and a life that was very different than what we thought we were going to live like in our world. So you might have gone through a narcissistic relationship and it might all look familiar to you. Some people have not, fortunately. And now is the time for us all really to rise up against the evil ones in the world and to stand up for ourselves. And you can do this again if you have done this because you experienced and suffered from a narcissistic abusive relationship and have healed from that. But even if you've not, we all need to begin to step up. And many of us are already doing this. This doesn't mean fighting physically. It means going within and standing up for who we are and our values and who we are and how powerful we are. So it's going from darkness to light. We are basically changing our life of fear, pain, chaos, uncertainty, and having a conscious shift to go from being outside and looking for answers outside of our body, outside of our life, to going within. And this is quantum. This is quantum law. And what that means is the answers to everything are not outside of ourselves. They are found inside ourselves. And the huge lies that we've been programmed with, the brainwashing our entire lives with the television programs, the music we've listened to, the politicians, the mainstream news. We don't need anything outside ourselves to heal ourselves, to take our power back. It all comes from within. The light within us is where everything comes from. And it may be hard, it may seem like it's hard or even impossible to do this in these circumstances that we're experiencing now, because there's so many things to be concerned about and things are coming at us like daily. But we need to not have any fears anymore about this time. When all this madness started 3 years ago, it was quite overwhelming. There was many times you're like, what is going on? And the answers that helped me were to be connected to my higher self, my the source within. And it's been part of an illusion that we cannot get through this and in fact change the outcome, because we can. And like many of us who are awake, you probably went through all those feelings I was saying, the fear and so on, and battling to sort of stay sane and positive against what seems like impossible odds. In the past, we had all the restrictions that the governments were putting out around the world, the lockdowns, the mandatory jabs, all the financial increases causing so much difficulty to just eat and buy your food, pay your rent, your mortgage, and all the misinformation that's been spewed out to us. All of this caused restrictions on our freedoms and our rights. So I realized staying in this state of fear, and it didn't help me. It didn't serve me, and in fact it added to the overwhelming feelings that I was having, which only added to the collective body that is here for all of humanity, where our emotions end up going to. And it was not helping me, and it wasn't helping the human race. And this wasn't going to work for me, so or others, to stay in that place. So I worked on myself. I began to heal myself, work on the trauma that I had, the pain that I had, and some of it was from childhood, some of it was from the relationships that I had been in and come up against with narcissistic people. So I let go of these parasitic attachments, and I learned some healing techniques, one of them being the soul center healing hypnosis. And that's where the client has attachments, or I had attachments as well to me, that were taking and siphoning my energies. And that's what these dark ones want, is your energy, your resources. And that's what keeps them so-called alive. Even if they're not physically here on the planet, but energetically. So I began to help others after I healed myself to rise above this confusion, the fear, and the pain, and this really helped the collective energies, which encouraged me to continue to help others to heal themselves. I began to see the truth and a bigger picture, the whole sort of bigger picture truth, and what was happening to everyone. And this time was not only about taking our freedom back, but so that we could be free. It's about winning the battle against good and evil. And this starts from the inside, despite what is happening on the outside. So releasing our false idols, our false gods, is really part of what we need to do. And now is not the time to distract yourself sitting down watching TV and just avoiding and pretending that we're going to be going back to our way of life that we used to know, because we are not going to be doing that. Burying our head in the sand will not help you or humanity, in my opinion. And it doesn't mean focusing on the negative 24 hours a day and going from one article and post and video to another. It means focusing on our inner work and our connection with the Prime Creator. We're going from an age of Pisces, which means knowing that there's a Prime Creator who was outside of ourselves in that time, to an age of Aquarius, where we know that God is within us and we are part of. So this is our time to stop worshiping these false idols, these false people, these false things outside of ourselves. It only causes us to hand our power over to make them be more powerful. So focusing on answers outside ourselves is how we ended up in this mess in the first place. Many, many, many years ago, we were sleeping and allowed others to make our decisions in almost all of our areas of life because we trusted those people, those religions, those governments, those banking systems, our healthcare systems, our physicians, those who were teaching our children. And we allowed them to make our choices instead of living through the Prime Creator. We gave our souls up, really, by selling ourselves like this instead of listening and knowing and aligning ourselves with our intuition and our values and our God, our source within. We've been given a pack of lies and being told all the things outside ourselves would make us whole, relying on things outside ourselves. And being told things like expensive clothing and a big house and drinking alcohol and doing drugs, having fancy cars were the answer to our completeness and would make us happy and whole. And this is narcissistic control taking us over. It means we're susceptible to being manipulated, gaslighted, bullied, enticed, our disconnection from our divine Creator. Along with the threat of loss, we have all been idolizing. So what's the answer? Letting go of the old life. We fell for the darkness because we did not have this connection to God within, and we did not stand in our light. The darkness is false selves. It's narcissists and worse, pretending to be on our side while stealing our life source, our life force, and our soul. And we've been programmed and brainwashed, as I said, for years, depending on our governments and our government-run institutions, as well as our beliefs that we need anything outside ourselves. We do not. When we live life from the inside, we don't get tricked by the pressure, by the threats to maintain all the goods that we have. Instead, we begin to remember our deep connection to the Prime Creator. We begin to remember who we are. And this is some of what I've learned over the last years. The last 3 years, it's kind of been amped up, and seeing what we're doing isn't working. And in fact, the cause of our demise has been for centuries by not knowing who we are. In a world of crazy, in a world of chaos, having no idea what will happen, beginning to connect with our God, our source within, is how we get through this, is how we get through everything, is knowing that we are connected, we are part of God's source, we are love. The ascension of the Aquarian age begins, or brings us into this fifth dimension. This is the place where we will grow and expand, we'll create from, not out of need, but because the Prime Creator is flowing through us. This is how we are supposed to live our lives. In this 5D, the evil and the dark ones don't have a chance. They won't be controlling us there, or the human race when you're in the fifth dimension. We'll be living our world of love, harmony, peace, and joy. So some people are like, okay, well, what's your ego and what's your intuition? How do I know what's what? In order to get through these difficult times, we need to take back our power, and it means our connection to our higher power, which is the divine prime creator. And the higher guidance that moves through each of us, we can access this, we can connect with this. And when we are connected to all that is flowing within us, we begin to see things very clearly. And our lives become easier and, in fact, flowing. And it's in this place where there's no fear. There's no worries, and our answers come easily to us. If the voice within you that you are hearing or sensing, feeling, is negative, that is not your higher self that is speaking to you. It's your ego talking, which is trying to help you in its own way, but that is not your connection to the Prime Creator. There is only truth and love with the Prime Creator. So this is where we all need to live. Then the narcissists in our worlds cannot affect us. And we become the so-called superheroes. This wonderful connection to God is the wise, calm, soft voice that is always true and right, and everything worthwhile comes from that connection. So the final words, besides my bird chirping, is in order to live in these times, in order to get through them, the answer is to take your power back. And this is done by what? Returning to our connection to the divine creator. The dark forces can do everything they can in their power to stop this connection. They can do it in many ways. Attach dark beings to us. They can come through our phones and through our technology with their dark energies. They can come in our dreams. And we are so much more powerful than we know. Our thoughts, and more than that, our words that we speak, create our life, our world. Everyone has the capability of doing this. So it's time we remembered who we really are. Take back from our world from the narcissists who have been controlling it. We are so much more powerful than these dark forces. Our light is so much more powerful. We decided to come here. We picked this earth to come at this time. We chose to be here. There's a reason for that. Our light is very bright. They do not like that. If you would like to have a session with me, feel you have some darkness that might be controlling you and affecting you, please reach out to me. And there's a link here that will help you do that. I'm here to help you. I hope that this post will be helpful to you. And until next time, please take care. Much love to you.